Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Radhikaya Priyatmane Sriman Bhaktivedanta Narayana Namine Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Sriman Bhaktivedanta Narayana
ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो महावदन्नाय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्रिये गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो। तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञायाते तं नमाम चरणं। First of all, my hearty obeisances in the lotus feet of my spiritual master, Nitya-lila Pravishnu Vishnupada Sutta Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Kesava Swami. And same in the lotus feet of my Shiksha Guru Vishnupada Nitya-lila Pravishta Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami. As I told before, yesterday, that how he was writing this book, weeping from eyes, from heart, and not in a line. Whenever he reminded any past times, he began to write this entry. प्रभु मोरे हास्य करी पैदा युक्ति द्वारका पाटेश्वरी तुम्ही तो प्रभु. One day he was, as a joke, told me, "Oh, you are queen of Dwarka, prominent queen. I am like a beggar." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "I am a beggar, but you are the queen of Patrani, of king, of Krishna. Why you always want to serve me, bringing so much oil from Bengal, and here cooking me, washing my clothes, everything you are doing? Why? Koto sannyasi paibe amam hono. Oh, so many sannyasis you will have, you will meet, you should serve them. Like Paramananda Puri and Paramananda Bharati, so very well." Then I told Jagannath, Jagadananda Prabhu, "Rekhe dao tumar chalana. I know who you are. You are not sannyasi, but anyhow, you have taken the vesh of sannyasi. I mean, that is, I am the Paladasi of Radhika, and you want to take me to Dwarka. I cannot go there. You have taken the mood of my Radhika, And you want alone that I should take that Radhika with me in Braja and serve alone, and I will keep you all anywhere. You want to serve Radhika alone. You want that you should take me to Dwarka, and you want that you will play with Radhika, serve Radhika alone in Vrindavan. Then he remembered one very sweet pastimes of his boyhood with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit. Both were at that time studying in Sanskrit school of Ganga Das Pandit. He remembered and he began to write, weeping. बहुत से चैतन्य पद भजनेर सम्पद कोथाय बे गेलो आमार छाड़ी. Oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, let us see, is the bhajan, is the feet of bhajan. I left that and still I am alive without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why I could not die without him? And that time I was rolling down on earth. Oh, where is my Gauranga Mahaprabhu? Where is my Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? One day, he remembered his sweet pastimes. Oh, one day, in Coimbatore, we went to school, and there, anyhow, I quarreled with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then, hati, like quarrel. And then, in the evening, I went alone at the bank of Ganges on sand. Whole night I was weeping and weeping. In the meantime, when it was began to be morning at 4 p.m. in the night, 4 p.m. and he saw that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Oh, Nimai and Gadadhar both. In the darkness night, they went there. Oh Jagadananda, Mahaprabhu told him, oh Jagadananda, you should give up man. Oh, this is very bad. কথা বলো বক্তৃতা ছাড়িয়ে. You should talk with me. Don't be angry with me. You should know that man and angerness is no one. Man, in high class of love, man is there. But where there is no love and affection, there is anger. That is not man. In this world, man is very rare. Only you can see anger. He is telling that I asked Nimai Pandit, oh, why you and Gadadhar came in so nice? The land of Navadip is very hard and your feet is very komal, very soft and soft. Oh, for me, you came here. Then Nimai Pandit told, oh, chalo chalo ghare. You should not do man. Now, you should come with me in my house. My mother is waiting for you. I saw that you are suffering in man and you have not taken anything. So whole day, night I could not take also anything. I am starving. And in this night I could not sleep on bed. On ground I was sleeping, but no sleepiness. And at this time in the night, Gadadhar came and we had both come to take away to my house, and there we will take prasadam. Then in a Kalai Gadadhar Pandit then came and he took my arms and he told that at once you should go with us. Then Mahaprabhu told, oh man gelo, bhalo hoilo. Bhalo hoilo man gelo. Now your man has gone. I am very happy. Now we should come to my house, Sachi Maiya, and there we will take something. Gadai charan dhari, usilam dhire dhire, Prabhu agya chalite na pari. Chalite na pari. Then Gadadhar took my arms and took me to with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and at that time my man has gone, so I could not disobey them. Then they three reached to Sachi Maiya house, and Sachi Maiya gave him something to eat, and they ate and slept. In very morning, Sachi Maiya and Jagannath, they brought doodh, milk and rice. And then we three took prasadam there, and then again we went to Pathshala. Now our frame was renewal. Like if any problem comes to Braja and Krishna is survived, then Mother Jasoda and Brajavasi prem become renewal. In the same way his prem became renewal. And here he is telling that Kondole prem hena jena suddha se. If gold is cleared by fire, then it becomes very glittering. In some way, by man, prem becomes glittering. Prabhu bola to ei lagi, tumi rago, ami rago. Mahaprabhu, oh, that is why you become anger like man, and sometimes I do man. Only to renew the prem. So you should know Radhika and Krishna prem, renewal. By man, Radhika's and Krishna becomes more happy by her. And sometimes Krishna told, I want to learn man from you. Radhika told her, that you want to learn? Yes. Achha. Then you should think that I have done more. And if I will tell anything, oh, you should do like this. No, I will not go like this. So now Radhika wants to talk with Krishna, and Krishna has done man, so he is not laughing, joking or anything, and he did his mouth first another way. Very long time. Then Radhika said, oh, I taught you man and you are doing man with me. एहना गौरांग चांद ना भजिल परमार भजले से परम सुख. Those who don't worship the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, their life is unsuccessful. And those serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, they are happy. And they will be happy. Daya Thakur Tehu. He is more merciful than Krishna and Radhika. Radhika showed mercy plus Krishna mercy. Both has come in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. दया ठाकुर ते हो कहाँ की भूलिते ते हो ये तो दया करे Mahaprabhu, Krishna, Ram killed so many demons. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never killed Jagai, Madhai or anyone. Changed their mood. And they became, in this life, they became a pure bhakta. But he killed Putana, Krishna, Aghasur, Bakasur. In next birth, some became like motherhood, some became mukta only, not more than that. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu changed this view. And they became pure bhakta lagai, like Jagai and Madhai. Chaitanya Amar Prabhu Chaitanya na chhadi kabu sei mo prane raishwa. I cannot give up Chaitanya Mahaprabhu my whole life. Jai Chaitanya bole dake, those who are calling, oh Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, ha Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, ha Nityananda Prabhu. They are my life. Ha Chaitanya Pranadhan na boli le jai jam. Muktar na dekhi nahi. And those who will not speak, oh Hare, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, ha Nityananda Prabhu, ha my life and soul with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I don't want to see their faces even. You should realize the mercy of Mahaprabhu more than Radha and Krishna together. Together their mercy is in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In so many ways you can see. Krishna kare aparadher vichar. Krishna dham kare aparadher vichar. Krishna name and his dham. If you are aparadhi, Krishna prem will not come. But in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu name and dham, Navadip, oh, easily it comes. Chadiya on Chaitanya Katha, Anna Itihas Britha, Bolejai Mukhe Agunta. If anyone is speaking and talking anything else than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Katha, oh, I will keep fire in his mouth so that he cannot again speak. What is Chaitanya Katha? Only Krishna Katha is. In all parts of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life we see. From beginning to end, only Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So Mahaprabhu's life is Krishna life, not separate. एक दिन प्रभु मरे खेलीते खेलीते चलीला अवलका वली अलका तीरे निबेड़े ते बनी. One day, myself, Gadadhar Pandit and Nimai Pandit, three, we for play we went to a forest nearby. And when we entered in the forest, we saw three on a bakul tree. A parrot was sitting there, and the parrot at once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu anyhow, oh parrot, and parrot come on his hand, like Krishna. Sriya Suk he took, so this Suk was like that. Mahaprabhu told, oh Suk, come on and sit my hand. And he came. Oh, you are Vyasarananda. You are son of Vyasadev. That very Suk. Radha Krishna Bali Kara Ananda Badham. Oh, you should speak, chant Hare Krishna, Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna. But that Suk was so that he was only chanting Gaur Hari, Gaur Hari, Gaur Hari, not Radha Krishna. Even Mahaprabhu told him, but he could not. प्रभु तारे दूरे फैली कोप करी छल करी तबु एक गौर गौर नाचे. Then Mahaprabhu became angry and he threw out the parrot, and then he began again chant Gaur Hari, Gaur Hari, Gaur Hari, Gaur Hari. Then Mahaprabhu told, oh Sud, this is Navadvip, not Vrindavan. This is Vrindavan. Radha Krishna bolo. All should hear that you are speaking Radha and Krishna. And then Suk told, Vrindavan Navadvip Hailo. Now Vrindavan has become Navadvip. Radha Krishna Gaur Hari Rupe Dekha Dil. Ami ei, Suk ei. Bane Gaur Nam Gai, Tumi Mor Krishna Radha ei Gadai. Then Suk told that, oh, this is Navadvip. Vrindavan has come and become Navadvip. So, you are same Krishna, and here you have a Nimai, and Gaur has become, and Radhika has become Radha. Here Jagadanand is telling that Gadai is Srimati Radhika, Radhika incarnation of Gadadhar Prabhu. Gadai Gaurang Mor Pramanya Rishwar An Kichu Mukhena Aise Atapar. In mouth, from mouth I cannot speak another thing. Only Gaur Gadadhar, Gaur Gadadhar. Gadai Gauranga Mui Radha Shyam Jani. I know that Gadai Gauranga is Radha Shyam. And these 16 crores, 32 miles of Navadip is Vrindavan. There is no difference between Jasodanandan and Sachinandan. If anyone is thinking separate, I don't like to see his face. Jagadananda Prabhu is telling, निष्ठा करो भज भाई गौरांग चरण. You should try to do bhajan of Gauranga Charan. Even in Astakaliya Leela, first Leela of Mahaprabhu and then of Radha Krishna. Anna Devi Devata Kabuna Bhajive. Don't worship any demigods. By doing bhajan of Krishna, all demigoddesses and gods are happy, become happy. Gauranga Das Krishna haite Gaur ke kabu naam anibeyan, janbeyan. Don't think that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is separate from Krishna. Both are one. Nij Guru Deve Jana Gaur Kripa Patra. And you should know your Guru Krishna Kripa Patra. If he is not so, then how he can keep praying? Gaurangere Parshade Jana Gaura Dehagatra. He is like the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is Parshad, Parikar. Gaurvari Rasa Postai Eimatra Jana Sakal Gauranga Das Ekatha Kimana. Paraninda Parchacha Na Karibe Kathan. Don't criticize anyone. If he is doing so nonsense, but you should not criticize him. Vale dridha bhave ekante bhaja gauranga chara. If a man is to be criticized, he has done something mistake, but you should not. Otherwise, that thing will come into you. So don't do. Gaur je sikhalo naam sei naam gaur. What Gaur has told that Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Hare Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namah, Jadavaya Madhavaya Kesavaya Namah, Gopala Govinda Ram Srimad Sudan Giridhari Gopinath. Only this, especially Hare Krishna Nam, always sing, no other song. Gaur Vina Guru Nai, a thousand. There is no one Guru like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Saral Gauranga Bhakti Sikhao Sabare. Kutinati Chado Manu Karo Sakal, Gaur Bhaja Lokaraksha Ekatra Mila. Oh, you should give up hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. You should make your heart very clean, clear. गौर भाजा लोक रक्षा एकत्र निष्फल. Be રૂટીનાથી છાડો. लोक रक्षा गौर भजा एकत्र. To please all, and Gaur Bhaja not same thing. It is like you are keeping your feet in two boats and then you will die by that. So give up to please all except Radha Krishna or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. जगाई बोले यदि एक अनिष्ट है ना हईबे दुई नाय पायर नदी पारे दूध दशा तो गौर प्रेमानंदे. नौ नारद and Vyas Charitra dialogue will be told by Sriman Suddhadvaiti Maharaj. How Vyas divided Vedas in four parts. And then he made Brahma Sutra, essence of all the Upanishad and Veds. And then he wrote Purans. "54 kinds of Puran he wrote. He wrote also Mahabharata, but he was not happy. He was thinking, I have wrote everything, but why I am not happy? So what became?
Taking the dust of lotus feet of my holy masters on my head, Srila Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada, Srila Govinda Maharaj, and Srila Gurudev, I will speak something on this dialogue between Vyasadeva and Narada Muni. Once upon a time, on the bank of the Saraswati River at Syamaprashna, Lord Vyasadeva was absorbed in contemplation. How is it that I have not been able to reach satisfaction? For Loka Siksha, for the benefit of everyone, I have divided the Vedas. I have written so many Puranas, Upa-Puranas, and Saka-Puranas. But still my mind is not satisfied. I've written Mahabharata so it will be easier for everyone to understand the essence of the Vedas. I have written the greatest philosophical work, Vedanta Sutra, giving all the difficult points of the Upanishads and Puranas, making them clearer for everyone. Still my mind is not satisfied. Now, in the Tattva Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami is explaining that the mind of Vyas is so great that it can accommodate all the knowledge of the world. In other words, there is no knowledge which can be beyond the mind of Vyasadeva. It is said also that in every Kali Yuga, one Vyas appears. In Vishnu Purana, the name of the 28 Vyasas which have come before or depend on Vyasadeva, they are given for each Kali Yuga. This is mentioned in Laghu Bhagavatamrita of Srila Rupa Goswami. So our Vyasadeva is called Pepayana Vyasadeva, and he is the son of Parashara Muni and Satyavati Sutta Vyas. So his mind can accommodate all the knowledge of the world, but still he was not satisfied. So he was contemplating that I have divided the Vedas, I have studied without any duplicity the Vedas, I have worshipped the spiritual master. How is it I am not satisfied? Then it dawned upon him that, oh, maybe I have not directly described devotional service unto the Lord. At that moment, his spiritual master, Narada Muni, came down, understanding that his disciple was facing some difficulty. And then when he came, he was worshipped, greeted by his disciple Vyasadeva as the son of Brahma, addressed as such. Then Vyas told him, I have some difficulty, please ascertain what is the source of it. Now, Narada Muni very expertly, as a spiritual doctor, Sadhu Vedya, he took his spiritual pulse and he could determine, oh, you have not been satisfied because you have not directly described the glories of Krishna. Now, or Srila Gurudev many times is given very sweet explanation of this. Or Sripad Madhav Maharaj has spoken on this morning, as well as Sriman Prem Prayojan Prabhu this morning also, speaking this very subject. That this is defect, but he has not spoken the sweet leelas of Krishna. Narada Muni asked him, have you described all the sakhas, the friends of Krishna, they climb on his shoulders freely without any inhibition? And he told him, oh, to me, Ami Sama, you and I, we are equal. What kind of big man you are? Oh, no, I have not described this. Oh, then what have you described? Oh, have you described, oh, Mother Yashoda, she's showing a stick to Krishna? And he was the supreme Brahman, everyone is afraid of him. Fear personified is afraid of him. He is afraid of his mother. Have you described this? Oh, no, Gurudev, I have not described. Have you described that the supreme Brahman himself, Krishna, is coming to beg at the feet of the Sakhis, please let me come in the kunja of my Swami Radhika, because no, she's doing man and I cannot live without her. Have you described such a thing? No, I have not described. Then how can you be satisfied? This is the reason of your dissatisfaction. You should not encourage people as you have done. You have given so many rules and regulations about sense gratification, but people will only, they will forget about the rules and regulations, and they will only engage in the prohibited activities in the name of Dharma. So what you have done actually is not so much benefiting the people. You have not done what is appropriate. He said also that spiritual knowledge, even though it is devoid of karma, fruitive activities, it doesn't appear very good. It doesn't look very good. It is devoid of connection with the absolute truth. He said, whatever you describe, which is not connected to Krishna, it will only take different names, different shapes, and react with the srigunas in the mind of the people, and create only disturbance. So you have not done properly. Then Narada Muni told him, actually you must describe directly that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but you must describe his sweet pastimes, because only by hearing this, will the mind of the people will be distracted from engagement in sense gratification. They'll be purified, they'll be attracted, because Krishna has appeared on this earth for this particular purpose. Anugrahaya Bhaktanam, for the benefit of his devotees, is coming to perform his sweet leelas, to steal away our minds from our attachment to this material world. In this world, everyone is attached to love, affection. But in this world, love and affection is only of one kind. The original discourse on love is between Krishna and the gopis, in which they were trying to make Krishna admit that his way of dealing with them was not very appropriate. So they told him there's different kind of love in this world. And the first type of love they described is called Vanik Marg, or the path of the merchants, in which one is purchasing love with the currency of love. So this is what we know in this world. This is the only type of love we know, conditional love. So Krishna is appearing in this world and manifesting his sweet leelas. In other words, he's saying, look, this is what love is all about. See, the love I have with my sakhas, with my mother, my father, my beloved, this is love. And the love you are experiencing is not love at all. It is masquerading as love, but it is not real love. It is only a business deal. Vanik Marga, the path of the merchants. So Krishna has come to manifest these pastimes But you, Vyas, my disciple, you have not described those pastimes. Therefore, how can you be satisfied? You should sit and you should enter into trance of Bhakti Yoga, and then meditating on the Supreme Lord, by the strength of Bhakti Yoga, everything will be revealed to you. Then to give encouragement, Narada Muni started to describe to him, to give face to him, the story of his own life. Gurudev explains in Beyond Vaikuntha that Gopal Kumar, to encourage also his disciple, Jana Sharma, so he described to him what happened to him, what was his own life experience. Because by doing this, the disciple developed great faith in the words of his spiritual master. So Narada Muni started to describe to Vyasadeva that he was himself, he appeared as the son of a maidservant in this age, and once upon a time when the rainy season came, then some sages came to the ashram in a village where his mother was living as a maidservant. And helping his mother, he was serving those Bhaktivedantas. I think Srila Gurudev said that they were the 4 Kumaras, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada doesn't mention in Srimad Bhagavatam, but all Gurudev, who is the mind of mercy, is giving so many details that we have not found anywhere else. Just before Gurudev was mentioning the Prem Vivarta of Jagannatha Pandit, that we should see that our Guru is a patra, is a reservoir of Gora Kripa, of the mercy of Mahaprabhu. Also Gurudev mentioned that Mahaprabhu in this age, he has not come with any weapons, he's not killing anyone, he's killing the demonic mentality. And I remember one time my beloved spiritual master Srila Govinda Maharaj was saying, even a demon can become a Vaishnava. And he looked at us and he was saying, aren't you all former demons? And I was thinking, oh, this is a little strong words. Then he said, well, weren't you all previous demons? No, because you analyzed your previous activities. And then I had to admit, yes, Gurudev, you're right, we're all previous demons. So Gurudev is the recipient of Gora Kripa Patra. And by his mercy, even us who have demonic qualities, he's turning us into Vaishnavas. And this is his great glory. I wanted to show in this a little bit. So Narada Muni explained that I was helping my mother to serve those great saints, Bhaktivedantas. And then once only by their permission, I took their remnants. And by the power of that Mahaprasad, of those great saints, then my heart became purified. Already I was not a very playful child. I used to be sober, a little bit like this morning. Madam Maharaj told us a little bit at the beginning of the biography of Srila Gurudev. Gurudev was sitting very peacefully. His mother would put him there and he would sit there, absorbed, not doing any mischief, not doing any nonsense, any playing. So in the same way, Narada Muni, he was in that mood, very, very sober child. And when he received this remnants of the Bhaktivedanta, it cleansed everything in his heart. Then they gave him mantra initiation, and then they left that place. He said a little bit later, by the grace of the Lord, the tie of my mother's affection were tragically cut because one snake came and bit my mother. And I took this as the Lord's mercy, cutting my attachment. Then I started to wander all over the world. And then I came to one sacred place in the bank of a river. And I sat under a tree and I started to chant the mantras given to me by those sages. And then, after some time, the Lord appeared to me. And as I saw him, my eyes were full of tears of ecstasy. And I wanted to keep him in my heart. But then he disappeared and he said, oh, Narada, in this life, you will not see me anymore. Because those who have not fully cleansed their heart of any type of material attachment, they cannot see me. But I have given you darshan one time so that you will develop very strong eagerness to approach me again. And Narada kept on telling Vyas, in this way, I kept on roaming all over the world, traveling through forests, experiencing every different aspect of the creation. And then, at the time of death, just like lightning and light come immediately the same way, then I left my material body and achieved a spiritual body. At the next creation, when Lord Brahma again started to create, I appeared along with his mind-born sons and became known as the son of Brahma, Narayana in this life. Due to the grace of my spiritual master, I traveled all over the world playing on one instrument, the Veena, the glories of the Lord. This Veena was given to me directly by Lord Krishna. And this way I'm traveling all over the world, glorifying the Lord. So this is in brief the dialogue between Vyas and Narada Muni.
When Vyas heard the life history of Narada Rishi, and then by his teaching he went to his ashram in Badrikashi. And by Bhakti Yoga. What is Bhakti Yoga? Surrendering to Krishna totally. And he saw in his trance, Krishna's sweet pastime from boyhood to up to Dwarka Gita, all things. He saw how Mother Jasoda abandoned him. He saw also Ras Leela of Krishna. He also saw that preeminency of Radhika. And that Krishna is telling, Na pare ham nirvatya sanjuja. I cannot repay you, O Radhika, O Gopi. If I have life like Brahma, even I cannot. By your good and pure heart, if you will, then it may be that I will be indebted, but even I will be indebted to you. So all history Vyasdev wrote in Srimad Bhagavatam. Jasya vai suyamayanayam Krishne parma purushe bhakti upaddate purusa sok moh bhayapa. And he wrote all history pastimes from boyhood to Dwarka Leela, battle of Mahabharata and everything. But these Leelas are very, very grave. Without a Vaishnava, we cannot know the real meaning of Bhagavad, the sweet pastimes. Why he played that pastime? Very, very, very. We will discuss later on all these things. Thus, Jasya vai Sruyaman Krishna Parma Purushe Bhakti Upapadyata. If anyone will hear these three pastimes from any Vaishnava, then certainly Suddha Bhakti will come. And Krishna will be controlled by him. He will pursue. Satang prasangama vividya sampidau bhavantyavit karuna rasayana tatha tajjo sanata asu apavargu vatmani saddharati bhakti. If anyone will do pranam to this Vaishnava Sabha, Vaishnava assembly, who has organized, do pranam to him. You should pranam to all devotees, those who have gathered here. You should do pranam to this place, and those who are saying the Hari Katha speaking Harikatha to him and to all ordinance. Then very soon sadhan bhakti, bhav bhakti and prema bhakti will come, and by that Krishna will be controlled. There is no other. But you should know, everywhere Srimad Bhagavatam, Vedas, Upanishad, Puran, Ramayana, everywhere it has written, without the help and mercy of it, you cannot do anything. Everywhere. So you should realize this. Without the help of Guru, you cannot attain a pure bhakti, especially Braj bhakti, especially Dasya, Radha Dasya. So you should have your so much faith in Gurudev. As Jagdananda Prabhu told, Guru is you should always know. Guru is soul. Krishna's all mercy together, it took the form of Gurudev. And that form is who? Baldev Prabhu or Nityananda. And all Gurus, his manifestations. Now, you should try always to be in the sangha of Sadhu, Vaishnava, and to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. After this, Srila Vyas in 6th canto, he has told a story of there was a jungle, forest or jungle, a very dense forest, and a group of business persons were traveling there to make some business, to make more money. By money, what they had, they were not satisfied. So in this dense forest full of tigers and bears, lions, they wanted to do some business and to be more wealthy than. So continue.
Vigyantavadandasya Ganjanasalakaya Chakshurandalitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Sri Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I offer my pranams to the lotus feet of my spiritual master, O Vishnupad Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj, my Shiksha Gurus, Nichilila Bharish Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, Nichilila Bharish Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhaman Goswami Maharaj, Nichilila Bharish Srila Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Maharaj, Chaitanya Sannyasis, Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, thank you for coming. Here's some topics of Sri Krishna. So before we are hearing the glories of Navavanam, Navadvip, Adharanam Navavanam Bratakananam Te Nadaranam Navavanam Brajameva Dure. Sorry, we're hearing from Gurudev the glories of Navadvip, the Navavrindavan. But now we are coming to this world. This world is also one forest. But it's not sweet and nice like the forest of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Therefore the sadhak should try two things. Cultivate his attachment to the holy Dham of Vrindavan, and at the same time should cultivate detachment from this world. So unless we know the sweetness of Vrindavan, now would we, and unless we know these sufferings of this world, then how we can develop in bhakti? Therefore, we are hearing 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the son of Rishabh Dev. His name was Bharat Maharaj, and his history is given there in the 5th canto. Because of attachment to a deer, he took birth as a deer. Next birth, he took birth as the great Brahmin Jad Bharat. So Jad Bharat performed his pastimes, and he was forced by King Rahugana to carry his palanquin. That time the king chastised Jad Bharat, not understanding who he was, and Jad Bharat very, very mercifully gave him some instructions. Those instructions we will try to hear a little bit tonight. So first of all, Bharat Maharaj described to Rahugana the forest of this material world. And after it, Sri Sukadeva Goswami explained the meaning of those same words to Parikshit. Therefore, Sri Jad Bharat explained, there was a merchant. He was very greedy for money. He was not satisfied with what he had. Therefore, he entered the forest in order to do some business, collecting wood, collecting animals, and he would make some money. But as sometimes in the distance he would see a mirage. Oh, he think that looks like water, and he would run after the mirage. And then he would become even more lost. Sometimes he would become very cold. And that's called, in English we say, will-o'-the-wisp. It looks like a fire at night. Therefore he would chase after that imaginary fire. So he was always moving this way and that way, becoming more and more entangled in the forest of life. Sometimes he would be afflicted by great hunger and great thirst. Then he would try to get some fruit from a tree which had no fruit. Sometimes he felt great burning from the forest fire. Therefore there was one river. He would try to jump in the river, but that river was very shallow and he only hit his head upon the stones. Sometimes he would be kept awake by envious mosquitoes. Therefore he could not sleep. Sometimes he would try to find the way out of the forest, but he would become blinded by the whirlwind and he lost his way. Sometimes he would see some nice kripa and there was some chirping of the birds. Therefore that person, he tried to climb up the kripa. Sometimes he would see some honey, and when he would try to get the honey to get something to eat, then he experienced many, many stings from the bees. In that forest were 6 criminals, dacoits. They used to catch him and plunder all his wealth. Sometimes, being afraid, he would hide in a cave, and there was one very loud lion roaring, and out of fear of the lion, he would hide in the cave. Within that cave was one elephant, which also gave him so much fear. In this way, sometimes he would meet a python, and the python would choke him, and he would fall unconscious. So this is described, the forest of this world. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj, he described, Bhagavad Asrita Anubhave. O Gurudev, those who are under the shelter of those who have heard from the Guru Parampara, they can understand the analogy of this forest very easily. But please be kind and explain the meaning. Therefore, Sri Sukadeva Goswami explained, who is the businessman? That is the jiva. Sri Jagadananda Pandit, he says, Krishna Bhayamataho Bhoga Vanchakari Nikatastiye Mayatiye Japatiye Dori. The jiva, he becomes very much under the spell of the 3 modes of nature, Sattvagun, Rajagun, and Tamagun. He follows the activities that he performs as the modes influence his mind. Therefore sometimes he receives auspicious results in the mode of goodness, mixed results in the mode of passion, or suffering in the mode of ignorance. Therefore he comes to jiva when he turns his face away from Krishna, who is like the spiritual sun. Krishna Surya Samahaya Maya Andika Jaha Krishna Taha Maya Nahi Adhikar. When he turns his face away from Krishna, immediately he's captured by illusion. Just like when I face the sun, there's no shadow. But when I turn my face away from the sun, I'm immediately captured by illusion. Therefore the jiva, when he turns his face away from Guru and Gauranga, immediately he receives a material body given to him by the three modes of nature, Prakriti. Then he tries to enjoy this material body and what is related to this material body. Therefore this forest is called samsara, or they call bhav tabi, the forest of material enjoyment. Therefore, moving in this forest, he is hoping to secure sense enjoyment, but he experiences so many different types of miseries. He sees a fleeting friend. What is the fleeting friend? Rubles, gold. Sukadeva Goswami says the yellow stool of gold. Because gold is a fleeting friend comes, then disappears. Isn't it? It's like sometimes we shave and have no hair, sometimes we have a lot of hair. Sometimes money is coming, sometimes money is going. Therefore the jiva, he chases money anyhow to become happy, but he cannot catch it, because that is Chanchal Lakshmi. She cannot stay without the service of Narayana. Sometimes, then he experiences many difficulties. Sometimes the envious cricket, that means people criticize us behind our back, Someone in the next room saying, Damanama, Damanama, Damanama. That time you cannot sleep because of the cricket. Sometimes envious people, like mosquitoes, like tax agents, enemies, criminals, always plundering our wealth, plundering our blood. Sometimes he marries, then the wife and children, they become like jackals and tiger. Dincha, Dakini, Ratrika, Bhagini. The wife is described like, in daytime she's like a witch. In daytime she's like a witch. She takes away all your wealth. In nighttime she's like a tiger because she sucks your blood. When the husband returns home to enjoy with the wife, then he has sex life, he loses his blood in the form of semen. Therefore she's like a tiger. And the children, I know what I was like as a child, always trying to suck money off the parents, like a jackal. But the conditioned soul, he thinks, these are my friends, but actually those children are his enemies, always plundering his wealth. I won't go into my childhood level, but yes, it's like that, isn't it? So the man, he collects so much wealth, but what happens? Wife and children stealthily or unstealthily plunder all his wealth, which should be used for the service of Sri Krishna. They would not Sagyumane Sujavaji Dehinam Sadasupati Vigyat Diata Sakriyat Hipatma Patam Grihaman Vikugam Vanam Ganam Yadam Harimasayeta. The living entity is always meditating on what is temporary, therefore he's experiencing unlimited miseries. Sometimes he sees he's burning, therefore he tries to take shelter in a shallow river. That means he experiences so much burning from the three tapas, Adhyatmic, Adidevik, Adibautic. Then he's looking for some shelter. The shallow river refers to some bogus Swami, some bogus religious process, some yoga, Reiki, astrology, raw food diets. Therefore he jumps in there to try and get relief, and he only cracks his head experiencing suffering. Sometimes he approaches a tree which gives no fruit. That means he goes to a sinful person or an impious person who cannot give them anything, only gives him suffering. See, Kaviraj Goswami said, I wasted my life serving miserly persons. Then sometimes in the forest, he sees a Gandharva Purva. That means like a flower in the sky. That means he imagines so many things. I'll do this, I will become happy. I'll do this, I will become happy. And Gurudev tells a nice story. There was one beggar and he was begging. And someone gave him half a kilo of corn. 1 kilo of corn. Then that potman, he said, you take rest in my shed. And that man, the beggar, was thinking, 1 kilo of corn? I'll sell half the kilo and buy 2 chickens. Then I'll raise the chickens will grow up, they'll have babies. Then I'll have many chickens, 50, 100, 200 chickens, 500 chickens. I'll sell the chickens, I'll get so much money. Then so many ladies will come, I'll marry a very good girl. Then I'll order her, hey, do this, do that. So that blind man, that beggar, he's in the pot shed doing this and he's asleep and he breaks the pots. Then the owner comes and starts beating him and takes away the 1 kilo of corn. Then he's left like that. So the living entity, he's like that. He sees the Gandharva Buddha. He thinks if I can do this, I'll be happy. I'll do this, I'll be happy. Like as children we think, if I go to school, I'll be happy. But school is like a hell. If I can get out of school, then I'll be happy. And he goes to college, more hell. If I can get out of college and get a job, I'll be happy. But that job is like hell. If I could marry, then I'll be happy. That is like double hell. If I could get children, then I'll be happy. Then so much more suffering. Triple hell. If my children would leave home, then I'd be peaceful. That is like quadruple hell. Then old age comes, so many problems. Because he's like a dog chasing his tail. So he's imagining many things. I can do this and become happy. Isn't it? We're always making so many plans. In the future I'll do this, I'll do that. Like Gandharva Buddha, chasing imagine a pie in the sky. Sometimes he sees a nice kripa and hears the chanting of the birds. And he wants to enjoy it. Therefore the kripa means the arms of a woman. Therefore he wants to enjoy to hear her sweet voice. Oh Prabhu, you're such a qualified devotee. We can do bhajan together. He becomes bewildered and forgets everything. Sometimes he's captured by the snake and he chokes him. Then he becomes unconscious. That is like deep sleep. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole, Kota Nidra Jao Maya. We are deeply sleeping on the lap of Maya. And we think, very nice lap, like a bed of roses. That is not a bed of roses, Baba, that's a bed of thorns. Therefore we lose so much of I lose especially, so much of our life in sleep. Sometimes, what else is there? Sometimes, so many problems he has. Sometimes he gets disease and he hears the roaring of a lion. That is like death. Therefore, out of fear of death, he goes in the cave. That cave means many different types of diseases. But in that cave is also one elephant. That elephant is death personified. Therefore, he experiences so much anxiety constantly. Sometimes he becomes like a monkey. Or by associating with other monkeys. Means sometimes that person is fortunate to come to the feet of Sadguru. But that person out of bad association gives up the feet of Guru and becomes like a monkey. A monkey always looking at the face of other monkeys and enjoying. So that person gives up the feet of Guru and associates with others who give up the feet of Guru. He becomes like a monkey. And like a monkey jumps from one tree to another tree to another tree, the jiva jumps from one body to another body to another body. Therefore this is called the forest of material life. Then Sukadeva Goswami describes, Bharat Maharaj describes to Rahugana, O king, there is only one way to get out of this forest of material existence. That is the path of Garuda. Other kings try to get out of this. They are like the flying of the insect. Therefore don't choose the path of the insect, choose the path of the Paramahamsas like Garuda. Then you can very easily escape the forest of this material world. And hopefully by hearing Prem Vivata from Gurudev, you'll get the desire to leave this material world and go to Navavanam, Navadvip, our original home. Go Premanandi!
This Upakhya is very deep meaning. That meaning is that Supreme Lord Krishna is very merciful. Labdha sudardabham idam bahusambhavanti. Mercifully, Krishna has given this human form. not to marry, not to enjoy, not to do sensual getties. Nothing. Only to do bhajan. But from beginning, we are engaged in sense gratifications and sense enjoying and all these things. Again you will have to take birth like hogs, pigs, dogs, fishes and all this. Sometimes we forget, but remember always death is dancing on your head. When you will have to go, you don't know, anyone knows. Only Krishna knows. So before death, you should be ready. What ready? Oh, do bhajan and for what, after that what Krishna wants. So, Bharat Maharaj had given all the instructions to Rahuban Raja, a king, who was going to the place of Kapil Dev Rishi Ashram to ask all these questions. To whom we should take shelter? Who is the highest shelter? He was going in a palanquin. And how he made Bharat and his life story will explain Prem Prayojan.
Om Jnanatimurandhasya Jnanandanaslakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tudalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. First of all, I have my Sastang Dandavat Pushpanjali, my heart like flowers thousands of times, at the lotus feet of Asmadev Pranvarada from Guru Pada Padma, on Vishnu Pada, Shtotra Satsishimad, Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my pranam at the lotus feet of my Sri Guru Parampara, Sri Rupanuga, Gaudiya Guru Varga, and I offer my pranam to Ananya Chidanya Padgan and all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis and guests. So, Srila Gurudev requested me to speak briefly about the history of Sri Bharat Maharaj. Such a great personality, after whom this planet was called Bharat, Greater Bharat. So, actually, Bharat Maharaj was one of the 100 sons of Rishabdev. So Rishabdev, he was his guru. And when he was a young man, his guru instructed him, Nayam deha deha bhajam rinoke kastanka ham ati vidbhujamye tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shudyat yasmad brahma sakyam tanantam. Oh my dear sons, you have taken birth in the human form of life. And this human form of life is very special. It should not be wasted simply in sense gratification. Like pigs. Pigs are always looking for comfort. Even they have no discrimination. They eat stool, they will have sex with anyone, mother, sister, daughter. Kastan kaham ati vidbhujamye. Don't be like pigs. But rather, tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shudyat Yasmad Brahma Sakam Tanantam. There is a type of happiness that is pure. It is eternal. It lasts forever. This Brahmasu, transcendental happiness. And therefore, one's life should be spent, tapo divyam, in the transcendental austerity. That really means in the dedicated devotional service, hearing, chanting, remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, under the guidance of Sri Guru and Vaishnavas. See, Rishabdev told his sons, Pumsam striyamaituni bhavanetam tayor mitoridi agranti mahu aho griyapshenta sutapta vikta jinashi mahoya mahammameti. The basic principle of this material world is attraction between male and female. When male and female become attached to each other, then a very big knot is tied in the heart of ahankar, false ego. And from that moment, the person is always thinking, aham mameti. They become bewildered. I am this physical body. This family is mine. This house is mine. This land is mine. This money is mine. And the mind is constantly thinking, I am mine, I am mine, I am mine. Absorbed in a framework of reference which is completely external to the self, to the soul, which is transcendental and not related to anything of this world, only related to Supreme Lord. So Rishabdev, he left home and went to the forest, and his son Bharata became king, and he ruled over his kingdom until the age of, it was Satyayug, so he ruled until the age of 50,000 years. So that was still quite young in those days. So while he was still young and strong and had energy, then Bharat Maharaj, remembering the teachings of his father, he left everything. He walked away from his kingdom, his wealth, and all things, just as a person, after visiting the latrine, walks away without bothering to turn back. And he went to the forest, and there he began to do bhajan, remember his mantra, and meditate upon the Supreme Lord. And in this he was very determined, one-pointed, very focused. And day by day he was making progress. Even Rati was beginning to come. Some ecstatic symptoms he was experiencing. But it happened that one day, very close to the place where he was doing bhajan, one deer was drinking water from the river. And suddenly a tiger came there and roared. And the deer became so frightened that deer, she tried to jump across the river. But she could not. She jumped into the water. And that deer actually was pregnant. And the baby deer in the womb of the mother deer came out because of the shock and fell into the water. And then the mother deer just about managed to get to the other side of the river. And when she arrived on the other side of the river, she was so traumatized. And you know, deer, they have very beautiful lotus eyes. And with her beautiful eyes, she looked across at Bharat Maharaj, who had been there doing bhajan. And by her eyes she begged him, please, save my baby. And then from the trauma, that deer, she died. So then Bharat Maharaj, seeing this, had to make a choice what to do. So he was very soft-hearted. And he jumped into the river and he saved the baby deer and brought that baby deer onto the land. But now he thought, if I just turn this baby deer into the forest, no mother or father, immediately the baby deer will be killed. So I have to take care of this baby deer. So he began to give some milk, give some water, and fondle the deer and take care of the baby deer so that it will be protected and not disturbed by any other creatures. And day by day, the deer began to grow. But not only did the deer begin to grow, but Bharat, he developed some attachment for that deer. And his attachment for that deer began to grow day by day by day. Before, he used to sit in meditation remembering his mantra and absorbed in the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. But now when he sat to meditate, the baby deer used to come with his wet nose and poke his nose under his arm and disturb him. Oh, go away. And then again, oh, okay, then he would pick up the baby deer, put the baby deer in his lap, and then remember his mantra. Then next day when he's remembering mantra, he's not thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord. He's thinking, where's my baby deer? In this way, he experienced vikshep, distraction. And slowly, he became less and less absorbed in hearing and chanting and remembering, and became more and more absorbed in thoughts of the deer. One day, a herd of deer came through that area, and that deer ran away and joined them. And Bharat Maharaj was so distressed. He got up. He was thinking, where is my deer? Where is my deer? And he was wandering through the forest. He saw the footprints of the deer on the ground. He said, "Oh Mother Earth, what austerities have you performed to have the touch of the feet of my deer?" By the touch of the feet of a deer, then this land becomes suitable for the performance of yajna. And he became completely attached, like a mad person. And in this way, slowly his life passed. And when the last moment of his life came, then instead of remember, Ante Narayana Smriti. Life is successful when, at the end of one's life, one remembers the Supreme Lord. Instead of Ante Narayana Smriti, he remembered that deer. And when his soul left the body, he then took birth as a deer. Sri Krishna explained in Bhagavad Gita, Jam yam vapi smaram bhavam chadyatyante kalevram. Whatever you remember at the time of death, tam tame vaiti kuntaya sathat bhavitaha, then you'll become like that. So because he remembered a deer, then he lost this human form of life and took birth as a deer. In this there are so many teachings. Some acharyas have said, why after leaving all things did he become attached to a deer? One explanation is actually when he left his home, he still had some attachment for one of his sons. And after some time, again this attachment came out. And he superimposed the attachment for his son on the deer. Another explanation is that if someone will make offense, commit aparad, then it has 5 reactions. First reaction is asraddha, the faithlessness. One loses faith in Sri Krishna, the severity, the tendency to serve. This is first reaction, asraddha. Second reaction, the kutilya, one becomes very crooked. Glorifying Guru, glorifying Vaishnavas, glorifying Krishna, but in the heart, not feeling anything or realizing anything, or even thinking opposite things. This crookedness. Like Duryodhana inviting Krishna, "Oh, please come to my home. I want to feed you and give you so many preparations." But actually he has no love at all for Sri Krishna. This is the second reaction. The third reaction, that the mind becomes absorbed in things that gradually corrode one's faith. So here in this example we see Bharat Maharaj, his mind became absorbed in the deer. And gradually his faith was corroded. Down. Fourth reaction is one's bhajan, one's sadhana becomes slack. Very lazy. Not rising early in the morning, not chanting, fixed number of rounds, and all of these things. Bhajan becomes slack. And fifth reaction of aparad, offense, or one may be doing bhajan, but one starts to feel proud. I am following very, very strictly. This pride that comes in one's own spiritual practices, this is the fifth reaction of aparad. Some acharyas, they have said, the attachment to the deer, this was coming from prarabdha karma. But bhakti is so strong, it can overcome all prarabdha karma. So therefore this attachment, it came, why? There must have been some offense. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad in Bhakti Sandarbha also explains, other acharyas described that actually Bharat Maharaj is a great soul, and he's done this pastime in order to give teaching to the world, to be very, very careful of material attachment that can come in a very small thing and gradually completely ruin one's life. And to give the teaching that the sadhak, he needs sadhu sangha. Without the association of a sadhu, gradually one will become weak and overpowered by the material energy. If Bharat Maharaj, when he has his difficulty, when he first had some attachment or problem, or even when it was in an advanced stage, if he had left that place and gone to take shelter of any very high class of sadhu, then that sadhu would have removed all the attachments from his heart.
What is the meaning of sadhu sangha?
Sadhu sangha. Sadhu means that person.
What is the meaning of sangha?
Sadhu is a holy person, and sangha means association. This association, the word sangha, is divided into two parts.
What is the association?
This word sangha is divided into two parts, sam and ga.
I am telling you, to follow. What he is telling, Guru or Vaishnava or Sadhu, we must totally follow him in action, not only hearing and taking it all. If a sadhu sangha is done by this, by following, he cannot depreciate, he cannot do anything, he cannot bring anything in his heart beyond Radha and Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we should try to follow. If we follow, we will develop our bhakti very soon. Go on.
Srila Gurudeva explaining, sangha means samyak rupena, completely, and ga means anugaman, to follow behind, to follow outwardly, inwardly, by body, mind and words, the teachings and the examples of Sri Guru and Shuddha Vaishnavas. So if he had done it, Bharat Maharaj could have been saved. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad also explained that sometimes the Supreme Lord makes some difficulty in the life of a sadhak in order to increase their hankering for bhajan. Like Narad Rishi in his previous career, actually he had no attachments, but in his life when he was meditating, one day he had the darshan of Supreme Lord Narayana for 1 second. Then a voice in the sky told him, "Oh, I have appeared to you for a moment, but for the rest of your life you will never see me again. Because those who are not completely pure, they cannot have my darshan. I have appeared to you to increase the intensity of your bhajan." So, actually, Narad at that time he had sattvic banavas, some sattvic desires to do bhajan in a peaceful place. And because of this, he could not have the darshan of the Lord. But this desire was given by the Lord to increase his feelings of separation. So this can also be applied to Bharat Maharaj, because actually he is a great personality. So then Bharat Maharaj, he became a deer. Another teaching in this is Yam Yam Vapi Smaram Bhavam Chajatyanti Kalevaram. Yes, whatever you remember at the time of death, you become like that. So on the negative side, if a person will remember anything of this material world, then they will take birth again as that thing in the material world. But Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, he explained, Krishnam Smaram Janam Chasya Prastam Nija Samihitam Tatat Kathara Chaschaso Karyam Vasam Brajay Sada. One should always remember Krishna, but not alone. Krishna along with his associates. Especially, remember one associate of Sri Krishna, after whom one wants to follow, who is serving Radha and Krishna in the way that your heart wants to serve them. And always being absorbed in the katha of that associate of Radha and Krishna physically, or if not physically, by mind, always reside in Vrindavan. So if a person in this life, they will spend their whole life chanting and remembering, and by mind falling in the footsteps of the associates of Sri Krishna, and they remember this at the time of death, what will happen? Just as Bharat Maharaj became a deer, then that devotee, they will become an associate of Sri Radha and Krishna and serve them forever. So this teaching is there in the life of Bharat Maharaj. Now when Bharat Maharaj was a deer, because in his previous life his sadhana was in such a high stage, even though he took birth as an animal, he remembered his previous life. And now as a deer, he was lamenting, alas, alas, what have I done? I had a very good opportunity to become Krishna conscious, but I have lost it. And now I have taken birth as an animal. So in that life, he was very careful not to become absorbed in sense gratification. The deer, they like to eat the fresh green leaves from the trees. But when Bharat was in the body of a deer, he never ate the green leaves from the trees. Too much sense gratification. He would wait till the leaves became old and dry and they fell to the ground. Then he would eat the dry leaves. Also, he used to go in the forest and where sadhus, they were engaged in kirtan and harikatha, he would come and at a distance, he would listen to the katha of those sadhus. But he did not get too close to them. In case if they become attached, then same will happen to them. So from afar, he was listening to their kirtan. And quickly, that life of the deer passed. And at the very last moment, in his life as a deer, when the final moment of his life came, he cried out, "Oh my Lord, I am yours. You are the supreme absolute truth. I fully take shelter of you." So someone may say, those who are listening attentively and thinking carefully about the katha, they'll say, well, wait a minute. Deer don't speak. Deer don't talk. How can this deer call out, "Oh my Lord, I am taking shelter of you"? So it's explained that bhakti is swatasiddha, self-manifest. Atasi Krishna nama navabadgrayamindriyai sevanmukhi jivado swameva spuratyadaha. The name, form, qualities and pastimes of Sri Krishna are transcendental. The material senses cannot touch them. But sevanmukhi, when the soul is sevanmukhi, ready to serve, crying out from the core of the heart, "I want to serve you." At that time, then Krishna's Naam, Rup, Gun and Lila, Swayameva Spurachida, they manifest themselves transcendentally. So at that last moment of his life as a deer, he cried out, "I want to serve you." And at once the bhakti manifested and he began to speak and gave up his life, and then he took birth as Jat Bharat. In this life he was born in a Brahmin family. And he thought, in this life I don't want to get entangled with anyone or anything. So I'm not going to speak to anyone. I'll pretend to be Jad. Jad means inert, lifeless. And especially it means deaf and dumb. So even though he was very intelligent and he knew everything, but still he acted as if he was deaf and dumb. If anyone spoke to him, no response. He was talking only making some sound. He had so many brothers. And the brothers, they thought, he's deaf and dumb, he's useless. They never gave him any good food. They gave him the rice that was burnt and stuck to the bottom of the pot. "Here, eat this." But he never complained about anything. His father tried to teach him mantra because he was in a Brahmin family. "Repeat after me, Om," and just made a noise. His father used to tell him, "You wash your hands after passing stool," but he would wash his hands first and then pass. He behaved like a complete fool, so that everyone would forget about him, leave him alone, and he could just be absorbed in his bhajan. So one day, his brothers told him, "I want you to stay in the forest at night, in the field, and take care of the crops, so that no dangerous animals come there, or any elephants come and eat our crops." So he was on guard at night, watching the crops. At that time, there was a group of thieves, dacoits, and they wanted to do a human sacrifice to please their goddess, Bhadrakali. So they captured some person to make a human sacrifice, but that person escaped. And they were looking for him and trying to find. But they could not find him, but they found this deaf and dumb person. Oh, this person is a useless idiot, no one will miss him at all. Let's take him. And they took Jad Bharat back to their lair, and there they had a deity of Kali. And they were doing kirtan to Kali, and they wanted to sacrifice him so that Kali would give a blessing and that they would be successful in their criminal activities. So they brought Jad Bharat in front of the goddess Kali, and their priest, he told him, give your pranam here on this chopping block. But Bharat Maharaj, he was not worried or disturbed. He just bowed down. And then when the priest took a knife to cut his head, just then there was an explosion, and out from the deity of Kali, then Bhadra Kali, she actually appeared with many arms carrying weapons, along with her ferocious associates. And quickly, she killed all of those dacoits. And then she, with folded hands, she said to Jad Bharat, please, be merciful to the people of this world. I know that you are a pure devotee, but you are hiding your qualities. So don't hide from the world. Give mercy to the people. And then she disappeared. So then Jad Bharat was wandering again. And at that time, there was a king called Maharaj Rahugana. Maharaj Rahugana, he was a king, so he was somewhat passionate. But he had an interest in spiritual life. And so he was riding on a palanquin to the Kapil ashram, because he wanted to meet sages there and put to them the important questions of life. Who am I? Why am I here? What is the goal of life? How can I attain the goal of life? All of these questions. So he was riding on a palanquin. So as he was going, the palanquin carriers, they needed an extra person to carry the palanquin. So one of them came and they saw that Jad Bharat, that he was big and strong, and they grabbed him and said, you come and help carry up the king's palanquin. So Jad Bharat, he never quarreled with anyone. He thought, what happens to me, it is the will of the Lord. So he went along and he took the palanquin on his shoulder, and then the palanquin drivers began to walk. If you've ever seen, they all walk in time. Left, right, to keep the palanquin moving smoothly. So when Jad Bharat was carrying the palanquin, he looked down and he saw there were some ants, and he didn't want to step on them. So he was stepping here and there, and so the palanquin was rocking, shaking. So the king was inside. He put out his head. Said, hey, what's going on? Carry the palanquin properly, otherwise I'll punish you. And then they continued, and again Jad Bharat was trying to miss the ants. And again the palanquin was rocking. So the king became furious. He said, hey you, why are you rocking the palanquin? I see that perhaps it's because you are tired, because you've carried this palanquin a very long way. Actually the king was being sarcastic. Jad Bharat has only just joined the party. Maybe you cannot carry the palanquin because you are so weak and lean and thin. But Jad Bharat was very strongly built. In this way, the king chastised him. He said, listen, I am the king and you are my servants. And if you don't do what I tell you, then I'll punish you. So then, Jad Bharat, in a very humble mood, he said to the king, actually, all the things that you have said, they are true. I have not been carrying this palanquin for a long time, because I am not this body. I am the soul. The activities performed by the senses are carried out by the external energy. And I am the passenger within the vehicle of the body. He said, you said to me, oh, you are not very stout or strong. It's true. I am not big, I am not small, I am not fat, I am not thin. I am the soul. Soul is subtle, like 1/10,000th the tip of a hair. And in this life, some people, they take birth as king. In the next life, they become a beggar. In the next life, they become a criminal. In the next life, they become police. In this way, always changing positions. This is temporary. So, in this life, you are thinking you are the king, and you are thinking that I am your subject. So if you think that this is true, and you have the right, then you can punish me if you like. When the king heard these words, he was amazed. He jumped down from the palanquin and he gave Dandavat Pranam to Jad Bharat. He said, Maharaj, who are you? Are you Kavi, Havi, Antariksha, Prabodha, Kripalayan, Chamasa, Karabhajan? Are you one of the 9 Yogendras? Are you Kapil Dev? I was going to see Kapil Dev. Tell me who you are. Jad Bharat said, oh, have you heard of a king called Bharat Maharaj? Rahugan said, yes, long time ago. In my very dynasty, there was a king called Bharat Maharaj. He left everything, went to the forest. And he did bhajan there. Then Jad Bharat said, oh, I was that Bharat Maharaj. The king was astonished. And then he began to explain to him his life history. The king wanted to know what is the nature of the soul. Bharat Maharaj said, actually, the soul has no relation with this physical body. No connection, it is transcendental. But we suffer. Why? Because of association with the material mind. If there's a fire, then the fire heats the pot. The pot heats the water. The water cooks the rice. So in this example, the fire means the sufferings and misery of this world. The pot is like the body. And the water is like the mind. And through the mind, the soul, like rice, experiences the heat and the pain and problems of this world because of association with the mind. But then the king said, to some extent I understand this example, but really the rice is associated with the water. But you said the soul is fully transcendental. So how does the soul associate with the mind? Sri Bharat Maharaj told him, hey Rahugan, Rahuganaita tapasana jati na chaitjaya nirvapanadryadva na chandasa naiva jalagni surya vinamahat pada rajobhishekam. Actually, the transcendental reality, it is achintya tattva. No one's mind or intelligence can understand it. One cannot understand the soul and one cannot understand God by doing tapasa, austerities. One cannot understand the soul and God by perfectly following all one's karmas and dharmas in Varnashram Dharma. One cannot realize the soul and God by making very grandiose arrangements for worship. One cannot understand God by sitting in the blazing sun, surrounding oneself with fire and meditating to overcome the duality of the world. Or breaking the ice and immersing oneself up to the neck in freezing cold water during the winter. By all of these different practices to overcome duality, they all fail. There's only one way to know the soul and the relation of the soul with God. Vinamahat pada rajobhishekam. Unless and until one smears one's entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of a pure Vaishnava, one cannot realize these things. So only Guru Seva and Vaishnav Seva cause the soul to be enlightened and enriched with transcendental love. So this in essence is the teaching of Bharat Maharaj and his life history.
There are so many teachings in this Upakhyan Bharat Maharaj, he was the king of whole universe, not on earth. And his age was 1 crore years. 1 crore, not 100,000 and lots. And his half-life, that is his 50 years. 50 years means half crore years. He left this world. His very beautiful wife, beautiful sons and daughters, so big kingdom, wealth, everything, position. And he went to the forest. Why? that these are bogus things. We should not lose our time in only this sense gratification and with children and sons and daughters and with wife. Thus he went to forest. Why? To give his whole heart to Krishna. For bhakti he went. And there he achieved the stage of bhav, rati. Very real, very real. He attained that position. But one day he saw that a lion was roaring and nearby a deer was very thirsty. He was drinking water. At once he jumped and his baby came down and he was sinking in the river. He had left his wife, so many children, everything. Everything. But he saw that, oh, this baby is driving. So I must save her. This worldly feeling came in his heart. Compassion. And thus he at once jumped in the river and took that baby. And he was so much attached. You should see how he was detached from worldly all these things. His own wife, very beautiful, his own sons and daughters and so many things, and he has come to serve Krishna Bhakti Yoga. But what became? In the same way, we should think over it. That anyone left his world, his mother, father, wealth and everything and came and took sannyas. And after that, oh, he met any lady and she is smiling. Oh, I have love and affection for you, really. I want to serve you. And then, oh, at first he has left everything, but now what became? In a glance, all vairagya and everything went. So by this Upakhyan we should realize this. Just follow his instructions. We have not come in this world for toxications, sense enjoying and other things. So whether lady or male, both, instruction is there. In wholeheartedly, complete heart, we should try to serve Krishna, Bhakti Yoga. Sangha means not to come here in our association. But what you are hearing, you should follow totally like that. Then Maya will not come, otherwise Maya will come. And Maya will tell, I love you. And then what? Her greedy eyes you will see and fell on her track. Always be careful. One thing more. Rahugan asked that if there is a cooker pot, fire is burning, water is
Inside the pot.
boiling, and we get some rice in that, and it became
Cooked rice.
oh, like
Cooked rice.
cooked rice. No direct that fire was with, but on the fire, on a pot, water is there, water is boiling and rice is boiling. In this way, what we are suffering, old age are so many problems. Atma is experience of that, or he is feeling all these things or not. Again, not clear. Clear? Who is suffering? Soul or mind or what? Then telling Atma is not suffering. But he has attachment in this body, that I am this body. This is the reason of all suffering. You are not soul, this body, but you are soul, part and parcel of Supreme Lord. If you have attachment in this body, that I am body, then you are suffering everything. And if you are not, but who is suffering? Mind. And thinking that I am that mind. Very, very deep thing. But you should know. So, I think it will be proper that in the beginning we should follow Bhakt Maharaj and his teaching. Don't be attached anywhere in this world. Even Maya Devi comes, or even Kamdev comes, Cupid, Kamdev comes. We should try to do bhajan. This life should be dedicated for Krishna consciousness, not for anything. I think you should take this instruction in your pocket, in your heart, and then return back to your home and help others also. Gauranga bolite hobe pulakasari. Gauranga bolite hobe pulakasari. Bolite hobe pulaka sarira, Hari Hari bolite na yane bhavinira. Akobe nitaichane karana hoire, samsara Visaya Chariya Kabe Sutta Devana Kabe Hamam Hera Sri Vrindavana Arupara Bhuna Kopode Hoiva Kuti Kabe Hamam Bujabotse